Family conflict. Gosh, we've all been there, right? But what if the real secret to fixing things wasn't about winning the argument, but about understanding what you're actually fighting about? In this explainer, we're going to dive into a framework that helps us look past all those surface-level fights to find a real path toward peace.
So, does it ever feel like family tensions are just more common these days? Well, you're definitely not alone in thinking that. The source material we're looking at suggests this is a huge concern for a lot of people, and its impact goes way beyond just being in a bad mood.
And that's exactly why this is so important. We're not just talking about little disagreements here. This kind of deep-seated conflict can really seep into every corner of our lives. It messes with our mental peace, it strains our relationships, and it can even make it hard to just get through the day.
So before we can even start to talk about solutions, we have to really understand the problem. Let's dig into what our source material says are the most common things that plant those seeds of conflict inside a family.
According to our source, the causes are often pretty fundamental. You've got simple misunderstandings that just spiral out of control. Then there's a lack of communication, which creates this vacuum that we just fill with our own worst assumptions. And then there's this idea of negative energies. Just think of that heavy, tense feeling you can get the second you walk into a room. You can't see it, but you can feel it. That stress and resentment just hanging in the air.
Okay, this next idea is absolutely the core of what we're talking about today. It really requires a huge shift in how we think. We have to move our focus from what's happening right on the surface to what's really going on way down deep.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have the symptoms, right? The constant arguments, the silent treatment, that feeling of walking on eggshells all the time. That's the stuff we see and react to. But the whole idea here is that those are just the symptoms of a hidden root cause, the real problem that's fueling all that tension we can see.
The official term for this is root cause analysis. You can think of it like being a detective in your own relationships. It's not enough to just stop a fight. The real goal is to ask, okay, but why did that happen? And then when you get an answer, you ask why again, digging deeper and deeper until you finally uncover the fundamental issue.
All right, so now that we get how important it is to find that root cause, let's look at how that actually translates into a practical, step-by-step approach for making a real change.
So where does this particular method come from? Well, the source material we're pulling from attributes the specific three-step approach to Pandit Rajeev, who is a family problem solution specialist based in Brooklyn.
And here it is, that three-step approach. Step 1 is what we've been talking all about. You got to identify that root cause. Step 2 involves using what the source calls spiritual guidance. Now, in this context, that means using deeper insights, maybe astrological or psychic, to see the whole conflict from a higher perspective. It's about moving past who's to blame and really understanding the underlying dynamics. And finally, step 3 is all about applying personalized remedies. These are not one-size-fits-all solutions. They are specific, actionable fixes that are tailored to the family's unique situation.
So if you follow this path, what's the actual destination? The goal isn't just to get a ceasefire in the family home, It's about actively rebuilding and restoring the health of those relationships.
The first major outcome is restoring that harmony. And this isn't just about things being quiet. It's about actively strengthening the bonds that have been pulled apart by all the conflict and rediscovering that feeling of connection.
And flowing right from that is the second big outcome, genuine understanding. Because let's be honest, you can't have harmony without empathy. This part is all about helping family members truly see the situation from each other's point of view, and that is often the one key that unlocks a real solution.
So let's zoom out one last time here. Beyond just fixing bonds and creating understanding, what is the ultimate long-term goal of this entire framework?
The really crucial point here is that this whole thing is about building a foundation for the future. It's not a temporary fix. It's about achieving a peace that actually lasts, one that allows for real emotional healing. It's about creating a positive home environment where love and respect don't just exist, they actually have the space to grow again.
So, if you take one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this. The philosophy is about shifting from this defensive mindset of just trying to stop fights to a really proactive one, building an environment where everyone in the family can truly thrive together.
So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If we apply this framework to our own lives, what are the surface-level symptoms we always seem to focus on? And what might be the true, hidden root cause of the conflict that we haven't even looked at yet? Taking a moment to really answer that question, well, that could be the most important first step you ever take.